Yo, 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 what's up? Chris Sims here. I got my man Sean McDermott. Nobody's introduced you like that yet, right? With a yo, yo, yo.
I love it. It's kind of like Yo MTV back in the day,
right,
man.
Back in
Yo
the
MTV
day.
raps or something
yeah,
like that.
Look at you. I know, you're right. That's our generation. That's what we grew up in right there.
Is.
All right, I mean, I know the year didn't end the way you wanted. It was a phenomenal year, first off, and congrats to that. Your team's all going in the right direction. But as a fan, do you have a chance to sit back and kind of digest that game and how awesome that was yet? I know it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth.
You know, after the game, Chris, you get a number of texts. Like
right.
Whether you win, you lose, you get, especially when you win, you get more. I got so many texts after the game that were, hey, Coach, what a game. Best game I've ever watched. Best
right.
game in the playoffs I've ever seen. And when you're going through it, you're so in the moment. As a performer, you don't really realize what's going on
right.
in the way the game's being portrayed on TV. But there was a moment in that game where I was like, this is incredible, the way this game's unfolding. So really, really special to be a part of it, and wish it unfolded a little bit differently, but we'll learn from it.
Yeah, all right. So, I would love to talk about your quarterback for a second because he's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I mean, really. Just tell us a little bit about what makes him so special as a player, a leader. Just seems like he's got it all, and he's arguably one of the best, if not the best player in football.
Well, that's how I feel, and I think he's only going to get better. And when you are able to lead a locker room with just some natural leadership things that come naturally for Josh, I think that's a big head start, right? And then the way he's developed his leadership off the field, in particular this last season, I think is only going to help our football team, and not just Josh, but our entire leadership group going through what we went through this past season, not just at the end, but throughout the year. That mettle that comes from that will help us moving forward. And I think I know everybody sees what Josh does on the field, but just as important is the way he leads our team off the field.
Yeah, it seems like that. I got one glimpse being up there one day a few years ago, and I could tell he had the team already because of just the way everybody gravitated towards him. And that's what a big-time quarterback does.
That's right.
As far as your team itself, right? You talked a little bit about after you lost to Kansas City, you wanted to improve like speed, team speed, defensive speed. Where? What are you talking about when you say that? As a general comment.
Yeah, and I think, Chris, people take those words and they just say, well, that's the only thing they're looking for. That's all they got to improve. No, it's just finding the right players, finding the right people to help our football team move forward and continue to be successful. I mean, we've won for a number of years now, and we've been fortunate to do that. Hard to do in this league, as you know, to sustain it. At the end of the day, we've got to continue to knock at that door in order to one day break through it, and that's what we're intent on doing.
Yeah, you're not close, all right? You lose your offensive coordinator. I mean, you are close. Did I say you're not close?
You're not close. That's all right.
That was a mistalk. I'm
I
Jersey
love it.
from
I love
Blonde.
it, man. Underdog.
You do love that. I know that. You lose your offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, who I think the world of, and of course helped develop Josh Allen. Now you got Ken Dorsey taking over. Do you still want the same offense? Do you let him do his own thing? Do you get involved a little bit about the vision of how you see? How does that kind of work out? Yeah,
I mean, philosophically, from a head coach's perspective, I believe there's a unification of an alignment of getting on the same page. This is how we want to play. This is who our team is. This is how we want to play. And then from there, give it to the OC, and he takes it and runs with it. So Ken, being in our building the last couple of years, Chris, knows already how we want to play.
Yeah, right.
And that comfort level with Josh was also big in promoting from within with Dorsey.
Gotcha. So, I mean, defensive coaches usually like to run the ball and do all of that. That's where you're cool and a little different. I never thought you were going to just be like, let Josh Allen go and unleash him. I'll give you a lot of credit for that. But in the same time, would you like to see your offense run the ball a little bit better, or are you happy with kind of the way you play right now?
Yeah, I think if you look at it through the other lens, through the defensive lens for a second here, to be a two-dimensional, let's call it offense, or the threat of two-dimensional, I think is a healthier way to balance. I don't think is realistic, whether you're a run first or in this, pass first. It's what does it take to win that game, but also the threat of being a two-dimensional offense, because when you can do both, you're just that much more harder to defend or to call a game against.
Right.
And I know that firsthand being a defensive background and coach.
Yeah, that the oh no, I need to worry about this run or whatever, but oh man, if I worry about it too much, the play action pass off, it could gash me for 30 yards.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're talking about.
And offensive linemen too. I mean, they to go backwards and backwards and backwards. Once in a while they need to get fed a little bit too with some, hey, go forward, knock somebody off the line of scrimmage, move the line, and that helps them a little bit when you do ask them to go backwards. So I've just learned that through the years, and I think that's healthy.
I would love to hear your process, because I watch your games and I go, I don't know what defense or coverage this is, but these guys just dropped all in the same area that they wanted to throw the football. What is it about your magic, you, Leslie Frazier, where you come up with these game plans? I would love to sit in for a week with you and just go, oh, that's how he does this, because I'm amazed by your breakdowns.
Well, I appreciate that. No, we've got a great defensive staff led by Leslie Frazier, and then our players do a great job of taking the game plan and making it their own week to week. And I think that's a sign of a good defense and a team that's led by its leaders more than anything.
It seems like that. It seems like you got guys that are a little edgy, like Poyer and Micah Hyde and Tremaine in the middle and Matt Milano. They seem like they reflect your energy in a lot of ways.
Well, that's great. That's cool to hear. I mean, they love playing ball.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to have a love for the game, love for whatever you do. You got to be passionate about it if you want to be good at it. So
you've been around football forever, and you've been kicking ass on defense forever. The current state of the quarterbacks right now, it's a different world. I mean, even for me, I was drafted in 2003. Quarterbacks weren't like this, where it's Mahomes and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and just guys where it just seems like you can't even call the right defense. You can call the perfect defense and you still lose sometimes. Just maybe talk about the evolution of what you've seen at the position and maybe some of these guys in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I think the game is in good hands.
Right.
I think it start there, and with the talent of quarterbacks, in particular in the AFC that you just reeled off. I mean, when I went to the NFC South with Carolina as a defensive coordinator, it seemed like coordinators defensively were getting fired left and right. It was like a graveyard, right?
Right.
When you had Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, and then Cam joined, and so now it's in the whole AFC, and there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFC as well. But just in the conference that we're in Buffalo, you better be able to defend great quarterback play. And that's a headache every week just about for us.
I would think so. I mean, it's just I'm just amazed by some of the guys right now. You must be, I know you don't have a lot of hair, but you must want to pull your hair out of your head sometimes. Go, damn,
no.
how do you get out of that?
Before all these quarterbacks came in the AFC, I had a full head of hair.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, it's the ripple effect, certainly.
That's it.
All right, last thing. I know you got other things to do here. I do want to ask this, my boy Blue, because Josh Allen, he is one of I call him my boy Blue. I don't expect you to know that, but he's my boy.
I know it is. I know it is. Can't say it. I'm not going to say it right here, but
right.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, good. So what about do you ever worry about the physical pounding the guy takes? Because he's a freak of nature. He never seems to be hurt. He never seems to get up slow. I mean, people fall on his leg and they go, oh no, his ACL's broke, and he gets up and he's like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
No, I worry about that big time, and I think Josh is doing his part to learn, hey, when to be selective with it,
right.
Which I think is a first step for any player. In being around some of the mobile quarterbacks I've been around, obviously on the other side of the ball, but with Donovan in Philadelphia, with Cam in Carolina, both mobile as well, and Josh is his own person. But all of them and across the league, you do it enough, and eventually there's going to be a wearing down effect, and so. The thing I love about Josh is he can make the throws from the pocket. So, I think that's, as you know, you got to be able to do that in this league, and Josh can do that.
Right.
He doesn't need to run.
Right.
But when he does, I think going forward even, and he does a great job of it now, is he's using his instincts to do that. So I'm confident he'll continue to evolve in that way, and like he has in every other way. Really.
I mean, he really has. He has. Do you? And last one. Do you ever say, hey, this is a week we should run Josh, or do you say that, or do you just kind of let the offense go? And
there's times where we talk about that a little bit and say, hey, all right, we'll say let's put a number on it this week.
Gotcha. So there is. Yeah. That's interesting. All right. You the man, Sean McDermott.
You
Thanks
are, buddy.
So much.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck,
right,
Sean
man.
McDermott, Buffalo Bills.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.